Hi, I'm Scott. Welcome back to Synth Stuff. Today, we're going to talk about how to make the Montage M, or the MODX, the center of the control system of your live environment. Coming up. A quick interruption. I need to apologize for the really crappy synth audio you're going to hear in this video. I accidentally had my mixer set wrong, and the audio recording that normally records the synthesizer sounds was recording the room audio. So the only thing it's picking up is the actual microphone sound. So it just picked up the ambient sound in the studio from the microphone. You still get the idea, but and this is not about the sound of the synthesizers, this is about the programming, so not that big a deal. Not enough for me to want to go through and re-record this whole video from scratch. So sorry about that. I'll fix it for next time. So everybody knows that software such as Camelot Pro and MainStage and things can control all your synths. So if you have a whole bunch of synths on stage, you can connect them all together, and when you are playing a song, you can say, okay, going to pick this song, and it will configure all your synths and do everything for you, and you're just ready to go, and you don't have to touch anything else. Well, did you know, and most people don't, that the Montage and MODX have this functionality built in? So all you need is your MODX or Montage on stage, and it will automatically control all your other synthesizers, not just in playing MIDI notes, but in selecting performances for individual songs when you select a performance on your Montage or MODX. I'm going to show you how to set this up. So what we're going to do, I've got my Montage set up here. I have DIN MIDI set up. Unfortunately, the Montage and the MODX, you can only select DIN MIDI or USB. You can't have both at the same time. Most synths will listen and transmit on both. Montage doesn't give you that option, so I've got it plugged in with DIN MIDI only, and I've configured my Montage for DIN MIDI, which you can see right here. You can see I've got it set up. This is not USB, but MIDI, so it's set up for DIN MIDI. I have the MIDI out from my Montage going into the Summit, and then the Summit MIDI through going over to the Hydrosynth, so that any note I play will actually be transmitted out to those two synthesizers. So I have MIDI out from the Montage going to the Summit, MIDI in. The Summit is listening on MIDI channel 2, and then I have from MIDI through from the Summit over to the Hydrosynth, which is listening on MIDI channel 3. Right now I've got just this one ANX part set up. So let's pick a sound here, and these are all ARPs. Let's see if we... That's a nice sound. So ooh, okay. Nice 80s sound there. So the first thing we're going to do is change what part of the keyboard is going to activate what synthesizer. Now I'm going to set this up so that I can play all the synthesizers from this keyboard. You don't have to do that, but I'll show you. I'm just going to do that for this example here. So the way we're going to do that is by going into the lower key setting, and we'll say C sharp, and the upper key setting we'll say C. So this is only going to listen from C sharp 2 to C4. Anything if you play below that is going to do nothing. Anything we play above that is going to do nothing. It's only is the lowest note. So we can play this sound from this section of the keyboard. So we have 2 octaves to play. Next, let's have a different view here. We're going to set up part 7. Now this is going to be our Summit. And let's see what we're going to do here. We don't care about what we're going to do in terms of the sound here, because it's not going to be heard anyway, but we do want to make sure that we have a single selected, so we're just going to pick any old thing and stick it in there. Now we're going to edit that, and you can see it has the part settings. Instead, we're going to set the zone settings. This is going to be a MIDI zone instead of a part, which is telling the synthesizer that instead of using the internal engine to play this part, it's just going to send the MIDI out. So let's set up first off that zone note limit. So this is going to be our Summit, so we'll put this on the top half here. We'll start at this C sharp here, and then it will go all the way up to the top there. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to tell this that it is an external MIDI part. So instead of saying play this on the internal engine, we're going to say play it on the external channel, external device. transmit channel, I set the summit up to channel 2, so that's what we will set this to. And now we should be able to hear it. And that's playing on the summit. Now maybe we don't want that so high. We can transpose, or rather octave shift that down by 1. Because we're playing it at the top end of the keyboard, we don't want it to play notes that high. So now we have that playing, the summit playing from here. But let's go a little step further. I am playing patch C112, so if I say LSB 123 and the program number, which is, I think I said 112. So now we know that for this performance, it's going to be playing that patch. Now I could change it to something else. As you can see, as I change it, it's changing it on the summit, what we're actually hearing. So let's leave it on that pad there. So now we have that set up, and that we could name that something else, but we'll call it external channel 2. I'm going to store this just because I want to save it, and we're going to call it master example 1. Okay, so we've saved that. Now we're going to add another one. So let's go into here. We're going to again pick a single part and edit it. And we are going to go to zone settings and say this is going to be an external part. And our note limit for this is going to start at the very bottom. And then the last note it's going to play is, say, let's say this B here. It is going to be transmitting on channel 3. So now we're playing the Hydrosynth. What are we going to play for a sound on this? I don't know. As you can see, oh, there's a good sound. That's a little low, so let's octave shift that up by 1. Good, so now we have a bass on there. So now we have our ANX part that's playing internally on the montage. We have the summit part up here and the Hydrosynth bass part there. Let's store that. All right, so now we have that stored as master example 1. So let's store it again. We're going to store a new performance, except we're going to store this copy as master example 2. What are we going to change for that master example 2? Well, let's go into the Summit editor, and we're going to change the MIDI program number, and let's see what we get. Sure, that's a good sound. And then let's find a new bass sound for the Hydrosynth. Fine, that's going to be our bass sound for the Hydrosynth. So now we'll store that. So now we've created 2 performances. We have master example 2 and master example 1. Let's go into our live set. I'm going to edit my live set here. And this is where I would have all my songs set up for the performance. And we have master example 2. That's not what I want. I want master example 1. So there's master example 1, and then on this one, we're going to use master example 2. So now we have my live set up. I have this sound here. No idea what that is. I had that in there from something else, but we have master example 1. Remember, we have that 8th, and we have the bass on the Hydrosynth, and we have this pad on the Summit. We go to master example 2. Now we still have that ANX here, but down here we have the different Hydrosynth, and we have the different sound on the Summit. So by hitting these 2 buttons, it's not only switching the performance that the montage is playing, it's also switching the performance that my other synths are playing. So it is actually doing the selection. And if I show on the screen here, you can see as I click back and forth, on my live set here, you can see that the performance, or the currently selected patch on both the Summit and the Hydrasynth are also changing as I hit these buttons. So I could have these set up for all my different songs, and when I'm finished with this song, hit the next one, all my synths are configured, away we go, start playing. Now, of course, we don't have to play this from here. I could play it up here. Or I could play it over here. So you could have just a rack of synths, and the only thing this is doing is just changing the patches on your other synths. Or maybe you have desktop or module synths, and you actually are playing them from your Montage, and this will automatically change those active patches in those synths. Or maybe you want to do layering. For instance, we have this, let's see, if we go back to master example 1, we have this nice kind of sound here. What if we change the ANX upper key to be all the way up here? So now, when I play something up here, it's playing the ANX engine as well as the Summit at the same time, which allows me to layer the Montage and the Summit in this example by playing this one thing. And then I still have my Montage, or the Hydrasynth, down at the bottom. So I hope that gives you an idea as to the capabilities of the Montage and the MODX that allows you to organize your set list in the live set and have it prepared ahead of time. So if you have all your multiple instruments, drum machines, effects pedals, anything that will respond to a program change over MIDI, your Montage or your MODX can control it. So if you're on this song, hey, okay, next song, press the button, everything's configured, ready to go, just hit go and play, and you're good to go. So there's also the ability to edit and limit what is being transmitted to the other synths. So if you see down here, you have edit TX-RX switch. This tells it that for transmitting, we can also do it for receiving, but we're talking about transmitting to the other synths, that if we don't want it to send program changes or bank selects, we don't want it to send pitch control or channel or polyphonic aftertouch, we don't want CCs to be sent, or which CCs, we don't want the sustain to be sent. So if there are performance aspects to what you're playing that you don't want to be transmitted to the other synthesizers, you can do that. And of course, if you turn off everything, then all you're going to get is pitch. Well, we can turn off pitch bend, all of this stuff. Now all it's going to send is program changes, and that maybe that's what you want to do if you're just having it control your other synths to change what patch they're playing for an individual song. This is a huge, huge deal for live players, and it's something that most people don't even know that the Montage and MODX can do. So now that I've shown you how to do it, you can do it to your own MODX and Montage and get your live stage set ready to go and make your life easier as a live performer. I hope this information is of use to you. If you do like this video and like videos like it, please click like. It really helps me out when you do that. Of course, it also really helps me out when you subscribe to the channel, so please do that as well. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, corrections, leave them in the comment section below. I do read all of those. Thanks for watching.